Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Putu Raditya Satriawan with the student number of 23151011005. And in this video, I will explain to you about my inventory project. If you already see my previous video for that contains the midterm project for the my computer science study program. Here is the continuation of the midterm, which is to add some features like the API, the interesting API, and the other features I will be show later. And here is the simple inventory management system by using Laravel 12. And for intro, I will show you the database itself. Here I use the MySQL because it is the continuation of my previous project. Um, okay, so if you don't know the context here, the here is to create a website that adding some additional feature into my project, which is the first is activity logger, and also the complex logic feature. Like because my website is inventory management system, I don't need to add the commenter or discussion, but I add feature here to calculate the stocks and the dynamic transaction. Also, the data visualization dashboard that I using the graphic for here. And if you can see here, there are so many things, so many tables in my database. But first, that I can explain to you is the relation itself. So the relation here is for each user, and also the user is what's it called? The user is different by two user, which is the admin and the common user. And each user can generate so many items, and one items can only be owned by one user only. And because okay, so the previous website, I put in the each items the stock for the each item, but here the because I adapt or I applicate the dynamic stock function, it will be not no longer using the stock, but the it will be using the quantity, because here you can add a stock and also input the outcoming stock, incoming and outcoming stock, uh, especially with the API usage. And here there are several tables, which is stock transaction, and the stock transaction is created by from the ID item ID, and also the user ID that created here. And it will be so much beneficial for the activity logger. And we can also look at here, type in and out, that for incoming stock and outgoing stocks. And also you can see here like the previous table in my midterm project, which is the item, and also the supplier is the same. And also, that's the item supplier, because one item can have some more than one supplier, and also one supplier can also have so many items here. And for the context again, in my project, it told me to create complex relation between each of the items and tables, and that's pretty complex for this typical project actually. And that's the complex relationship, but there will be so much things in the back. And also we need to create the REST API. I create the REST API before for my midterm project for the basic inventory management system, but here I need to add more for the reports and the transaction, because the reports we can get the data for the reports, and the transaction we can post the transaction post API method to create a transaction for incoming stock and the outgoing stock. And we need to explain first about the relationship that show the complex feature. And that's the complex feature that I explained before, the stock transaction that can have the ID of the stock transaction, in or out, what the item ID is, and for sure, each of the item ID can have one or more stock transaction, but one stock transaction for sure only has buy one items, and also one user that create uh, the stock transaction. And here the user, you can see the user here, and let's just look through the website. Let's just log in using the what ad- admin first. Let's just log in, and while it's loading, because I just start up it, and it will be show the login system. Let's just log in by the admin account that already inputted by me, and customize the role of the user to get the admin role. And for the context again, here in my website, there are two different roles and two different functional, which is the admin role and the common user role. And it will be beneficial for separating both of the function, that to separate both of the permission also. Here, okay, let's just welcome to the dashboard first. The dashboard is to visualize the transaction, the monthly transaction, because this in this month I already the first month is, and the amount of the transaction is 9. And we can also manage the we can manage the item like before category we can create. Let's just create, because there is several difference from the previous one. Let's just input kode barang, the code of the items. Let's just say what 001 0001, and the item name is item 00001, and the category is items, let's just say, and the supplier, as I said before, you can have more suppliers. Let's just input all of them. The amount is, let's just say, 90, and the price is maybe let's just say 2000. Can this description by yourself, and you can also input the image here. Let's just input some random image in my computer files. You can also add in yours if it's already hosted, but unfortunately it's not hosted yet because hosted is expensive, and this is just basic assignment. So here is the main after you is the views after you input an item. Here you can see the code here is 001, the item here, and you can also search and filter. Let's just say item 0001 that I inputted before, and here it will be displayed that, and you can also filter, let's just say by the category. Let's just say the items and filter, and it will be show the item 0001 because that's the category that we inputted before. Let's just reset the filter again, and that's the whole thing that you can do. But also you can do export the PDF. Let's just click that just to test the functionality of the website here. And you can also do the CRUD on this website to the items and to the user. Let's just see first the PDF, and here the amount is there with the total. And here you can also, let's just look at the detail first here. And okay, let's just ignore that first because that's the for the another section. You can also edit the items, and you can also delete the items. Let's just say delete this BRG016, and it will be deleted easily. Okay, so you can also interact with the users that already registered in your website. You can also customize your profile, edit some profile, and change the name. And what I want to explain first is the activity logs here. The activity logs here is to see what the user is already do in our website. For example, here me as an admin, I create item that added item 0001 1 minute ago, because that's what the in the activity logs noted here, which as you can see, the database is there are created at and updated at, and that's the main point where I can get the minutes here, the time here. Yeah, the time. Just okay. So that's the activity logs. And also here the main feature, the another main feature is to input to change the stock dynamically without editing directly into the stock, but it will be created in the in the stock transaction. Let's just say look or lihat here, and there are several things you can do is to input an income stock and also input the outcome stock. For example, here I will be input the income stock. Let's just say the amount is 10. The additional notes you can say incoming stock, and let's save this. The previous is 90 and right now is adding 10 and it is 100. If you go back here, also displaying 100. What if we want to input an outcome? There must be the stock must be less than right now. Let's just say 73 and outcome stock. And let's save it. It will be subtracted by the stock that we inputted, and right now is 27. And of course, it will be noted in the activity logs, and also it will be updated in the graphics. The previous one is 9, and also one right now is 10. Transaction is 10, and 10 total transaction in this month. That's the whole function of the website, pretty much. And that's for the admin. And how about for the basic user? Let's just For the basic user, it's just like a simple admin, but with some features that cannot be accessed, like the management user, the to delete things and etc. And that's just and also to access the activity logs. That is forbidden for the common user. And right now, let's look through the files here. That's just simple files. That's just continuation of the files, but with the addition of the stock transaction controllers to control all of the stock transaction, which is the to validate, to store the. This is mainly just to store because the function is mainly just to store the transaction of the items. Okay, so let me charge my laptop first because it's already at less than 10%. All right. All right, let's continue the explanation. Uh, so what from the previous, it's stock transaction, which is to store all of the transaction with the stocks, and the updated item controller because we already removed the stock from the validation. For each item, we will use the quantity, which is will be calculated furthermore with the stock controller and also the activity log controller. The activity log controller here is to mainly focus on storing the activity logs, but here you can see in the item controller how the activity logs notes the activity here. Let's just see, let's just log through here. The create activity log to create item, the function store to store an item, it will be first go into the activity log before returning the items.index, which indicates the success. And the other one is the root of the website here, the web.php routing. Here you can see if we just a slash function, it will be output the welcome, which is the landing page, and etc. And also the API one here. to manage the API. Now let's move on to the API, shall we? And here in the API, already set up several API, which is the first, for sure, it's for security reason. We need to log in and we need to get the API token, the login token, because I already did that. And the token is here. I will be no longer getting a token because it will be changing the bearer token. Here, the bearer token is bearer2. The authorization, we add headers here, and we need to get the items. Let's just say need to get the items. Yep, that's all of the items. And the status is 200. Okay. And right now, let's just add another product because why not? Let's just say BRG 18 maybe, 018. Let's just say the mouse, quantity 10, price in there, and that there be. And don't forget to input the bearer token. And let's just send the request for post. And item is successfully added for BRG 18. And let's just say if this already added into the database, let's just get. And here, you can see the BRG 18 with the ID 18 with the name mouse is already there. And let's just delete one of the random here. Let's just say the ID 17, because why not? Let's just delete API items slash 17. Let's delete it. Using the method delete for sure. And 200, okay, item is successfully deleted. Let's get the items, and you shall not see anymore the item with the ID 17, ID 18, and ID 15. So there are no more longer the ID 17. And here is the interesting API, which is the API transaction. Here, let's just say the ID is 18 because we want to edit the item 18. But here you need to input first your stock because if it's not inputting your stock, it will be counted as 0 stock. Let's just add 10 more stock in our items. Let's just say input via API, and let's just send the API. Boom, it's 201 created, and the quantity is 10. But what if we want to outcome stock? Let's just type out, and the quantity is 10, and the description is output via API, and boom, the quantity is 10 is already created and noted. That's the API slash transaction. And what if we want to get the reports? Let's just say the reports, and I set up here is API slash reports with also, of course, the bearer token, which is it because it's a transaction, and we can just simply get the reports. Total item 14, total stock 370, and total asset value is here. And so that's pretty much that I can explain here. And thank you for watching my video.